Hello and welcome to AFcast. I am your host Malcolm, and today I am with Bryce.
Hola.
Ethan.
What's up?
And Jocelyn.
Am I supposed to say something?
Okay. Our prompt for today for our gaming discussion of December is Elo-Hell. So for those of you who don't know what Elo-Hell is, it's basically a ranking system in video games that take people's ranks and place them with others, supposedly making it an even match. So yeah. Alright, so we're going to start off with our first question, which is, what is most frustrating to you about Elo-Hell? So does anybody want to start us off? Bryce Manley, I know you have some built-up hatred in this particular question.
Elo-Hell just really is bothersome and annoying because
Hence the name Elo-Hell.
Yeah. The ranking systems in games should be based off your Elo, which is your hidden ranking or supposed ranking within the game that, although it isn't shown directly in your rank, it's what the game considers like a hidden ranking where it knows what you should be as you play. However, when you go into a game, it also has to account for what your shown rank is. So it tries to pair people of the same rank with the same Elo, which leads to people who are at low ranks but should be playing a lot better to be playing with other people that are at low ranks that should be a lot higher rank, which creates a trap where you're stuck inside of this ranking that you can't get out of ever.
And sometimes that can also lead to you being this has happened with Bryce and I in Rainbow Six Siege, where we'll be playing just the two of us, and then we'll get 3 randoms or something like that in the game, and all 3 of them will be absolute crap at the game. And then we're against a team who's either fully stacked or just all of them are really good and are absolutely demolishing us because, we have the ranking is just kind of off. And in Rainbow, it's a bit more even most of the time, but it does happen in a lot of games, a lot more often, and it's fairly frustrating.
Oh yeah, in CS:GO, the price in the base game is really low, right? So people do is they'll get to a rank that's decently high enough, and then what they'll do is they'll buy the game again, make another account, and they'll go back and play
a Smurf account.
Yeah, basically Smurfs, and the Smurfs. What they do is that it makes it just horrendous to try to play low level silvers, because there's always a game where you're a new person trying to play, enjoy the game, and then there's this guy who's got 40 kills in the other team, and it's just super difficult to get better and play better when this guy's just destroying you.
Smurfs are also pretty common in Siege, especially on Xbox or PlayStation, because all you have to do is make another account, and then you could just play that other account on that console, because you have all the same games as you do on the other accounts. Mm-hmm. And so you're just able to go and play. We've made Smurf accounts, but it wasn't for the purpose of just being oh yeah, I'm just naturally good at this game. It's not for bragging or anything like that. It's because we actually started a team, so we have a team name, and then that's the reason. So that makes more sense for Smurf accounts. But I hate it when people just do it for the heck of it, and then it ruins everything.
Or even with Smurf accounts, I understand if you make a Smurf account and then try to get better and get a good ranking.
Yeah.
But there are Smurf accounts where even there's some YouTube channels where people will go to the lowest rank possible and just screw around with the other team.
And troll them and stuff like that.
And the Smurf account can also be used as a way to get out of Elo-Hell. Because say your base main account is stuck in Elo-Hell, and then you've got, I'll try to restart with the Smurf account and just get out of this. I'll, do better at this account. And yeah.
That is actually something I did with Overwatch, because I was stuck in gold for the longest time. Really low gold, high silver area. And although I didn't get out of gold with the new account, I actually got a lot higher inside of gold. And actually, I did reach plat on my new account. But it just gives you a break free of this old Elo that you're stuck in.
Yeah, it doesn't accurately represent you as a player.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier, trolling is a really common thing in League, and people will just join the game and then they don't play at all.
And this is League of Legends, by the way.
And it's a disadvantage, and you can't even play the game because the way the game is structured, if you don't have one player, it's just you can't. The other team just dominates you.
Yeah, because League is very like every single person has a very strong structured role in the game, right?
Yeah.
So like if one person isn't doing their job correctly, the whole thing can just fall apart.
I think that goes with kind of all games we're talking about. I mean, Rainbow especially, if you've got one guy that's just off doing nothing, just trying to spawn kill every game and he dies, I mean, you just from the beginning you're at a 4 or 5 disadvantage, and CS:GO same way. So it's kind of this whole thing's
everything is based off of strategy. So when something is slightly off, that strategy can be thrown completely off kilter. Like even like teams that aren't stacked, but they have but all the players separately are good, they can usually still just absolutely demolish you because they each see that someone is going here, and so they know automatically what their role is. Or you see somebody go here or do this certain thing, and you automatically know what you're doing because of how high your ranking is. Or even if you're a new ranking, you're going to be playing with people who are a bit lower than you, or even a bit higher than you, or just the exact same. And you can see what they're doing and how it turns out, and then it's able to be a learning process. But when people end up like kind of moving from the top down or from the down up for, I don't know, like
carried or
then it ends up just throwing everything out of control.
Carrying is also a big problem because if you're a low-level player that gets carried to a high rank and then you don't have your carriers with you anymore and you decide to play by yourself, I mean, you can really hurt the team, the rest of the guys that are playing with you, because you end up being an awful teammate and you don't know what you're doing, and these guys can't carry you as well as other guys were able to. So
yeah, that's something that we come across in Siege a lot of the time, is that we always see somebody have like this absolutely terrible KD, but then this super high win-loss ratio, which means that they're a higher ranking. And so it's bad.
And with Siege, along with that, even KD isn't super important because you can still be helpful for the team without having a really high KD.
Yeah, giving call-outs and stuff.
But when it's such a big gap, there's a point where you realize that this person isn't being helpful. They're just feeding the other team still.
Especially when they aren't doing well in your thing.
Smurfs have a big superiority complex, and some of them do, I mean. But it's a whole, you'll get in arguments with people over the game and everything because somebody's not trying. Because apparently, hey, I'm global elite on my other account. I just dropped 50 kills in another game, and
I'll run circles around you. You can't beat me.
Yeah, but then this game they've got 3 kills and they're all like terrible trash, and it's just you start arguing, the game falls apart, and eventually you lose, which makes you go to a worse rank, and it's just it's annoying most of the time.
Yeah, it's not them who will run circles around you. It's their carrying team that will run circles around you.
And those kinds of players actually lead to a lot of problems, because when you have someone that's sitting there and keeps claiming, on my computer account I am level 300, and
whenever somebody claims another console, they
know
that they're just,
and they try to claim all these things that you can't test or have an accurate showing of. It makes it so this person isn't trustworthy. I don't want them on my team if they're trying to lie like that, because then I can't trust them to make good call-outs, to play correctly, any of that.
Do you know what I also hate about that? Is when people, when you yell at someone because they're doing, they really screwed up or something like that, and you're playing a ranked match. This is a ranked match. You are doing this for the levels to get a higher rank. And they're stop being so annoying, you try hard. And it's that's the whole point of rank. You're supposed to be a tryhard.
Yeah, and owning up to being an asshole in a game. I mean, these guys will say stuff like, "Hey, on my computer account, I'm level 300 and I'm doing trash now," but it's only because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, or whatever.
Or I haven't played on the PlayStation in a while.
You'll hear this one a lot. I haven't played in a week, so don't expect me to be great. It's
I actually have a funny story between us that happened. So basically, we got Black Ops 4. Both of us did. So we've been playing Black Ops 4 the entire time. And then it's our first time back in Siege in a while. And these people confront us, and they're like, why'd you TK? Because they ended up TKing me, and then I TK back. And so then we were having this whole conversation, and one of the guys was like, well, this is my first game, and I haven't played in a week, because I've been playing Black Ops 4. And I'm like, we've had the game for over a week, have been playing it the whole time. This is our second game, and we carried you so hard.
Yeah, it's the excuses that really, like, in the game, divide you as a team, and then you fail, and that's just all it's all about.
I hate it when people try to take your spot of what you're doing. Like, maybe you... Like, it's not necessarily that it's, like, a race to get to a certain spot in the match, but, like, in Siege, you might, if the objective is on, like, the middle floor or something like that, you might go to the second floor in order to, like, break a hatch or the ceiling or something, and somebody will come up with you. Sometimes they won't even make sense why they're coming up with you, and, like... And I've even been TK'd before because they think I'm doing the job poorly. And I'm like, you're probably up here for a different purpose than I am. Like,
and it also leads to things like in Siege a lot of times, and I know Malcolm gets really mad about this, where you can be sitting there watching a doorway or a window or somewhere that you think the enemy might come from, and your teammate will just sit there and walk in front of you and start looking at the same spot. So you have two people now doing the job of one person. So
it's actually someone in our team that does it all the time.
So it just leads to you missing out on someone who could be elsewhere doing something else. Yeah. And that also happens a lot of times with Overwatch when I used to play it, where you would have... Because Overwatch, you have your DPS, you have your tank, and you have your heals. You would have, say, someone who plays heals all the time, which is kind of rare. But they choose healer, and then 3 other people choose healer. It leads to a thing where no one wants to switch off of healer, but now you have no DPS or no tank to be able to help other parts of your team because you're all fighting over who should be the support, who should be the heals.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times people just need to suck up and take, like, not suck up, but suck it up and and just take it because, like, in Siege, too, there's a problem where we've been in a 5-stack and we've decided to do this certain strategy and we've chosen our operators, and this one person will just not choose this operator that we need in order for the, like, actual strategy to go through. And it doesn't happen often in Siege because a lot of the time the different operators can work well together no matter the situation. But like, it's just frustrating because it's like you just need, like, if you have the operator, like, even if you're not good at it, you should still pick it. Like, 1, if you're not good at it, you'll get more practice with it, and that's good. And then 2, we also need that to win. Like,
and I can give an example of this. When you have, like, a setup, and you have, say, Mira and a couple other operators, but you need a bandit or a mute to be able to block off that Mira so the other team can't destroy it, and the last guy instead chooses Kakin. Now you have to lose you either have to lose the Mira or another very important role in order to block off that wall so that the other team can't destroy it.
Yeah, all right. So let's move on to the next question because we are getting a bit carried away with this, and I feel like we're starting to answer the other question. So, all right. So next question is like what are some, like, experiences or results of Elo-Hell? So basically, like, what stuff has been caused by Elo-Hell that is frustrating?
I think one thing could be, like, it's set up in a way that you have to keep playing the game, like, every day so you can keep getting better and better. But, you know, when you have school and stuff and you've got homework and everything, it's hard to balance it. And eventually, like, you know, I don't want to be silver anymore. I don't want to be this trash rank. And, you know, I'm kind of done with this and bored just because I can't play every day because of outside factors other than the game. But, yeah.
And I've noticed a lot of times with Elo-Hell, it actually rewards people for not playing as often. Someone comes in and plays a match every 2 weeks and gets up to this higher rank and just keeps doing that where they don't play that often, but when they do play, they do well. So they don't lose rank as easily. And they sit there at this really high rank for a long period of time. That's why I like what Overwatch did, where they actually went through and had, once you get to a high enough rank, if you don't play for a set period of time, that rank begins to degrade and you start losing your rank. That way, you can't do that.
Yeah, CSGO has a system like that too, where if you don't play for a long period of time, it just gets rid of your rank altogether, and you have to play another, match where it decides like where you're at as a player. And I think that's a pretty good thing, good addition to the game.
All right, so let's move on to the next question as well. I mean, if that does anybody else have anything at all? All right. So which games kind of control Elo-Hell well? Like which games don't?
Very few games do.
Yeah, very few games do. But I would say Rainbow actually controls it pretty well, because don't they have a more sophisticated system in the game where they also base it off of how skilled your player is, or is that only in casual?
That is the way that goes off of is you're ranked. As I said, it goes based off your shown rank and your hidden rank when you are doing that. But the way the casual works is it's just your hidden MMR, your hidden Elo, where you play, and it's not going to put you against until you reach level 20 to be able to play ranked. It's not going to put you against all of these really, really bad people who are a lot worse than you. It's trying to equal out. But then once you reach ranked, it starts, obviously ranked, it goes by what your hidden and shown is, and it sways a lot more towards what your shown rank is. It tries to get a lot of golds together or a lot of coppers together, that sort of thing. But then when casual, it still goes based off of your shown rank, but it sways more towards your hidden rank and what you actually play as, how well you actually do.
Right, so you're saying something pretty interesting about Overwatch a couple minutes ago, so I think you're telling me something about that.
Yeah, I was. Overwatch, the way that they do it is, it's not just based off of how many kills you get or how you win a game. It has systems set up with other stats and that sort of thing, which isn't, the way they have it set up specifically isn't the best, but it's a good start for games where, because in most games, supports wouldn't get much Elo because they're not getting as many kills, and when they win or lose, they didn't do as much for the team, quote unquote. But with Overwatch, supports actually, at least when I played, they would get boosted. Like a strong Mercy main would easily be able to get up to this really high rank because they played support, or because tanks, they would get a lot from just because they have other stats that it goes by to increase your rank than just kills and wins.
I think in CSGO, I don't think it's not very complex in CSGO from what it seems like, just a player point of view. Like, you get a bunch of kills and you win a bunch of games and you rank up, and that's really the most simple way it can be done. But another way is the second you start to, as an individual player, excluding your team, you start to, rise above the other team in a, very, like, I want to say, like, a showmanship kind of way. Like, you blow them out as an individual and you don't need your team as much, then you pretty quickly rise to another rank and you rise to a higher elo. So.
And I feel like your point has a lot to do with solo queuing more than an actual team, because with an actual team, if you get a set team that you always play with, you can always change up who you play with to fit your skill or your play style. That way, or you could work with them so you can all work together and rise through Elo together. Whereas if you solo queue, as you said, you have those people that are really good, or that blow off their team and just try to be on their own, and it can be a detriment to the team when one person doesn't care about what the rest of the team is doing.
Going back to the last topic of what are some experiences, well, I kind of do have a really limited view on this, but I noticed that if you're I don't know, just starting out and you're a silver or bronze, people just hate on you so constantly.
It's true.
And you can't even play a game without somebody saying why did I get them on my team? This whole system is rigged or something, and that just kind of, it's brings you down and it makes you not play the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that really ties into smurfing and toxicity right there. Cause
definitely,
a smurf always sees themselves as
top
way
dog,
better than their team and top dog of the whole match and everything, and then they're it gives them some kind of superiority,
which also makes it really funny when you school
yeah.
a Smurf. There was this one kid who was saying that he'd never played before, that he just got the game and everything like that. And I hit I just went try hard mode. This was even in casual. This wasn't even ranked. And I just I popped like 3 headshots or 4 headshots or something like that right in a row. And this kid just started screaming, and it was so funny. But anyway, yeah. So going back to which games control it well, I would actually say Halo also controls it well, because it's at least Halo 5 does. The other Halos, their ranking system was absolute crap. But their new ranking system is actually really well done. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but essentially it keeps it limited. It has a lot of variables that it has in play, and it keeps it within a certain amount of scoring that you can actually have people on your team or on the other team, and that's just really good, because what happens a lot of times is that you'll get everybody who's about the same within a few points of each other, and then you'll have one person's way below, and then of course they're on your team. And that can be really frustrating. It's also frustrating for the other person that's really low, because they can't really do anything, because everyone else is just going to school them in the game. And so it does lead to longer load times, but I'd say it's really worth it, because a better game experience is better than being able to load into the game faster.
And that is something that Overwatch does as well. Not to the degree I think Halo does, but once you reach Diamond rank, you can only play with people within 1,000 score of you. And then once you reach Grandmaster, you can only play with people within 500 score of you. And that helps prevent against people carrying a lot of lower ranks to these high ranks. And it just makes it so it's a lot fairer of a playing area once you get to these high ranks.
Yeah. And then, other than games that do it well, most games don't. So, actually, pretty much every game has some part of Elo-Hell that it's just bad.
Yeah,
so,
flawed. Yeah, definitely.
I don't think there's many ways to actually fix it, but, so our next question is, why is Elo-Hell so bad?
Because it forces you to have to play more and more and more to get better. Well, not even to get better, to get placed in an Elo where you're just stuck with Smurfs, tryhards, stuff like that, people who are toxic, and it's just annoying, and you end up not even wanting to play the game.
Yeah.
And it rewards you for doing these out of your way sort of strategies and play styles that you wouldn't normally do if you were saying playing casual or quick play in Overwatch. As I made the point before, in Overwatch, supports used to always you could just play a support and you would go up in rank super quickly. Or if you play a support, you wouldn't lose rank as fast as everyone else on your team.
I think there's a very good small portion that is good about Elo-Hell, which is the fact that you get to play with people who are higher than you at some cases, and that allows you to actually see other people's strategies and how they play, or what people they pick, and how they use them, and that does allow you to kind of ease your way into that higher ranking a bit better, but at the same time, then you have a bad experience and the other people have a bad experience because you're not as good as them. But I definitely think that playing with people who are higher than you and people who just, have better strategies than you do and are more experienced at the game does definitely help you develop, better, kind of, it just eases your way into further rankings in the game. But that's pretty much the only good thing I can think about Elo-Hell. And that's not even good, because then you drop in rank when your team loses. Yeah. So, but yeah.
It's an odd kind of love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Elo is the worst thing in the world, but there's just a lot of negatives about it that you wish would be fixed by developers and stuff. And
but it's also really hard to do.
You can see that how can you really truly measure a player's ability when humans can't really be measured in their actions and stuff, and crazy things like odd variables happen and stuff like that.
So that kind of leads us into our next question, which is, what things do you think that, we can change or add it into the system, or even take away from the system that could actually help us with our whole Elo-Hell problem that we got?
First of all, I don't like the win-loss, how much you win and lose type things, because you can be a very good player, but you can lose a lot because of your team. And when a good chunk of your rank is related to how much you win or lose, like, you end up getting put in a place where you need to become a Smurf and restart your account so that you can get to a higher rank and not be playing with, people that are not as good as you. And yeah.
I think another way that I actually just thought of is, after a certain amount of time, I think that it should start actually lowering your rank, because obviously over time you're gonna get a bit worse. Like it's just fact. Like it's not something that you can really deny. It's just, you are going to drop in ranking via play style after you've been gone for a while. So I'm not saying have it be constantly dropping, even when you're playing, but maybe after a month of you playing the game, it should just start lowering your score a bit by bit every week or so.
Yeah, and that's something I said that Overwatch did. Once you reach Diamond, it will start doing that after, I think it's a week. It'll very slowly start to degrade what your rank is.
I don't think it should be a week, but because some people just don't have the time to play. But yeah, I definitely agree.
When I took a break from Siege for about a year or two, I tried to hop back on and do, I really thought I was going to be as good as I used to be, and I just...
Nope.
As much as I tried, I couldn't do it. I was so garbage.
Especially with how, there are a lot of developers, CSGO not so much, because it's CSGO, but, a lot of things, they add in new stuff. So, especially in Overwatch and Rainbow and even League, they'll add in new people to play that have different abilities and such. And for CSGO, it's really just maps. So CSGO, it's not
they don't add in a lot, a lot of the time. They really don't try to change the game that much.
Customization stuff.
Mm-hmm. But when it comes to Rainbow and stuff, it's really hard to jump back into that game after not playing it for a long time, because
you fall for the new tactics that people have come up with new operators.
New tactics, new operators. There's new play styles. There's new spots like camping, peak spots that you have to watch out for.
New maps in general.
And the new maps are probably the most frustrating, because a part of you knows all the other maps, but when you play this one map that you haven't learned before, you just want to give up, and it's annoying.
That's one thing is Siege does that especially, where you have every 3.5, 4-ish months, you get 2 new operators and a new map.
Yeah.
So if you're gone for a year, that is
4.
That's 8 new operators and 4 maps that you have to learn how they play, how to counter them, how to move around the maps, that sort of thing.
Especially with people that are Caveira or even Alibi, because Caveira, she's literally. Usually she's really far away from the objective, and then will come behind you and take you out, and they'll even interrogate you, and then it'll show you the whole enemy team when you interrogate them. And then for Alibi, obviously, you're throwing down your things called prismas, which are holographic versions of yourself, and new people are always going to fall for that, especially if they don't read the updates or anything. Another thing is what I kind of mentioned in about Halo, and even Bryce with Overwatch, is that there's a certain point value that people should stay between, and that just makes the whole teams even. It doesn't let you have an outlier, even a couple outliers, and it just makes it a lot more fair and even. It's always really satisfying when you get a very even game, and then you're constantly playing. There's not one person who's a lot better, one person's a lot lower. Everyone's just about the same. That's always really satisfying, but it's also really rare. And I feel that especially can help. Yeah, just in general.
And with that Overwatch system, there's one common complaint I've always heard is I want to be able to play with my friends. I can't play with my friends with this system, where if they're a super low tier or a lot higher than me, I just can't play with them. And there's simple solutions to that. If you're playing on console, make a new account. If you're playing on computer or whatever, just play casual or quick play with them.
Yeah.
Play the more casual game modes where they won't pull you down or bring you up a lot more than
Yeah, because if you're trying to play as a team, you should have a separate thing anyway.
Yeah.
If you're trying to play as a team, then you should make Smurf accounts for that specific team and then rank up together, especially in a system like that. So
Or even like Overwatch. I started Overwatch, I was always solo. Always played solo, always on my own. And eventually I got into this one game with this 3-stack that was like really good. They were not really good, but they were about the same skill level as me. They were the same ranks as me, and they just played really well together. And that's a group of people that then I joined, and we would always sit there and play together. Whenever we would do ranked, it was always with each other. So even though we didn't make these new accounts to play with each other, we met each other and we were all close to the same level, close to the same skill, so we could grow and move on together.
I think something that Overwatch could like try to incorporate into the game, so there's like a better overall experience, is actually League. It has this system of when you play like a draft game or like usually ranked, you select which lane you want to play, and that like avoids a lot of like conflict between the team, because there's like blind mode, and when everybody joins the game, there's like this race to type which lane you want. And even when you do type the lane, people join into the lobby like not as fast as other people. And then there's arguments, and then people will go into the same lane because they say that they called it or they didn't see the message. And if Overwatch was to like do that, then there wasn't like what he said, 3 healers in one game. It is just like be a lot better.
And that is a good system, but I can think of flaws of it. Because when I played Overwatch, a lot of people said they want that system where you say if you want to be support, tank, DPS, whatever. But it doesn't allow for quick, on-the-fly changes. Like, whenever I played, I always played flex, which means I can play every single character in the game fairly well. So, if you do that system, and it, like, say, it forces you to, if you queue for support, it forces you to play support. That makes it so that if it's not working out, you can't switch with one of your DPS. You can't have your DPS switch to support and you switch to a DPS operator or character. And so it doesn't let you do on-the-fly quick changes to try to help the team. And it also leads to things like longer queue times and stuff like that where it's trying to pair people together.
Another thing is that I think they would be cool to add. I'm not entirely sure if it'll work, but I think it would be very interesting to like try to kind of, test out in a game, is have kind of like a looking for group type of deal. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's essentially, I don't know how, like, which consoles or even if like some PC games or anything like that have a looking for group system, but like here, I'll use Xbox for example. So Xbox has this looking for a group system where you can look for a group to play with on a specific game. And you can do that. You can find a group, and it has special like preferences that you can have, like good mic, good ping, obviously, like anything like that, or even just like stuff like a headset, like a good headset. And so I think it would be cool if you could have stuff kind of like that for matchmaking, where you could have like settings like has a mic that they actually use, or like this, maybe even this level ranking, or just stuff, just like little preferences that you can add into the game to make it so that way people who have the same, if not at least close, matchmaking preferences can be like locked in together, and so that way they could play together, and that'd make it a lot more useful, because I personally don't really like playing Siege without being able to talk to the rest of the team, because a lot of it is communication. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I feel like for Siege, I would have my matchmaking preferences as, like, have a mic. It's like, or even like you can even have stuff like in Siege, like plays this certain operator. I mean, that's really specific, but like maybe you could even be like play support in Overwatch, or plays medic in Overwatch, that type of thing. So I think it would just be really helpful.
Yeah, CS:GO Online has like some websites and stuff that are all revolved around that whole thing of like, what rank are they? What age are they? You know, if you don't want to play with a squeaker or a super wolf dude or something like that.
Squeakers.
And then just other things like what do they play? Like if they're a sniper or if they're entry fragger or something like that. And yeah, I've got one of those systems, so that's pretty nice.
And even like, because Xbox has that built-in system throughout the entire console, where you can choose a game and then go through all the looking for groups. Even offline games, like I've been on the Skyrim looking for group before. There's not many posts, but there's a couple of people who are just like, oh, I want to hang out, talk to people while I play.
Yeah.
And first off, that system builds a more social community, and it's an easy way to find friends, that sort of thing. But it also, as they were saying, it lets you choose specifics of, I don't want kids, or I want someone that has a microphone, or I want someone who wants to play ranked, but is this specific rank. And although I don't know of like computer or PS4 having those systems built in as well, I have seen a lot of apps that are that sort of thing where you can look for each other and you can do those specific requirements, and everyone that has the app can see the post and be able to join off of it.
Yeah. I think a lot of games as well either do like for ranking. I mean, most of the time it's win-loss, but there are some games that have KD for ranking, and I feel like they should incorporate more of the other into the whole system, because obviously there's people who get carried in win-loss, and then KD isn't always fair because some people might get a super high KD but then always lose and be super like bad towards the team, because you know, like, the people who get super high kills are always the people who, you know, take my peaks in Siege. Like Bryce mentioned earlier. It's just like, so I feel like it should be more balanced between the two. Because if someone doesn't get a lot of kills, or even maybe in Siege, there's some kind of system for getting like score. Because Siege is mainly based around how much score you get in the game, which can be anything with gadgets, you know, spotting people, getting kills, getting assists, injures, that type of thing. And so I think maybe even score would be good, because then it shows that you are legitimately a good player if you get like this average score per game.
And I don't think score is actually that good of a indicator of what your rank should be or how the ranking system should go.
Well, not just score, but...
Well, because in Siege, they used to have it where
Oh, yeah.
you scan someone and you can just sit,
you can just
you're the only
ping.
one that gets the points for scanning them the first time, and then you could constantly scan them and get extra more and more and more and more and more points infinitely. So,
Siege.
but then they made an update where they removed that, where you could keep doing it, and when you first scanned someone, everyone on the team got points. So that removes the whole helpfulness of, oh, I scanned someone, I did something helpful for the team, I should get more score for it. It's the entire team gets the equal amount of score. Or the whole... I've never found this nice with Siege, where if you get an assist, a lot of times it counts as more points, more for your score than actually getting the kill. Because you get an injure... For a kill, you get 100 points. But for an assist, you get the injure assist, which is 50 points, and then the kill assist, which is 75. So for getting an assist, you get more score than if you were actually to get the kill on the person. Which, and still, even the scores don't account for the fact of, I could be sitting on a camera making good callouts that win us the game.
It's true.
It's impossible to have a perfect ranking system where you can always account for what callouts are being made, what someone changes to be able to help the team, or it's just physically impossible to do that sort of thing where it can be a 100% perfect ranking system that accurately portrays how much someone does for the team.
Pretty much wraps up Elo-Hell in a nice little nutshell. If nobody else has, even if you want to go back to a question, anybody got anything else? I got nothing.
No, I'm good.
It's just a small thing, but the only thing I could see that's bad with like the like having certain things that you want for like a group or something is that people lie all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
And
yeah.
especially with the like squeaker thing, kids are gonna like change their age and join groups, and like even if the system when you first create a account people lie. I don't really know anybody that puts in the real age.
But that's something that I like about the Xbox looking for group system, is it goes through your party, so you can invite people to your party then. And you can, once they join your game, you can see what their rank is, see if they lied about that. You can see their KD, all of that. And you can also, if they're a squeaker, you can hear that before you actually get into the game and start playing.
Yeah, and you could, like, it would probably be something more along the lines of them actually joining your in-game party first, and then you enter a game, rather than, like, while you're matchmaking, like, getting a match in. But yeah, I definitely agree that there are definitely people who lie. I have had people who have lied play, aka like all Smurfs I've encountered. So yeah. All right, well, I think that sums it up for Elo-Hell. Definitely not heaven, that's for sure. But yeah, game on.